5 days watching the ANC's 55th National Conference, a chapter in the history of the former liberation movement as it moves towards the 2024 elections. We have been saying to you, Cyril Ramaphosa has been re-elected as president of the ANC. A short while ago, he delivered his closing address saying that the mission to renew and unite the party has been intensified. That mandate has received support yet again from the branches. Of course, this being in Ramaphosa's re-election, I don't know how you renew and unite a party because they cancel each other out. Do you unite against the mission? Do you unite as individuals? Do you unite with the crooks in the ANC? These are still questions I have as this conference comes to an end. The key takeaways that I've had this week are: one, young people in the ANC, or the so-called relatively young people in the ANC, are not working well enough together as a unit. What we saw happening with the position of Treasurer General as well as the position of Deputy President tells you something is wrong in unifying behind a singular message when it comes to young people in the ANC. The other issue that I picked up on is the advancement of women at this conference. Yes, there's a bit of engineering. Think about extending the top six into a top seven, but there are now 3 women in the top structure of the ANC. They might say it's not an official structure, but you know what it is? It does make decisions. It does matter that there are 3 women at the top of the ANC. My other takeaway is KZN. You've heard it from many of the guests that I've spoken to. KZN needs to go back to the drawing board. It needs to figure out how it participates in a party that is a national posture and not a provincial posture. There's a lot of work KZN needs to do. You can't keep coming back and going home with losses. You can't keep putting all your eggs in one basket. Something is off. When Sita Zigalala and Dumsedi Mtuli were blamed for going awry, something needs to happen between Siboniso Tuma and Bekim Tolo. They might be leading the party astray. I think there needs a lot of introspection is needed there. My other takeaway is the collapse of the role and the dominance of provincial leaders in provinces. I think this is important. The Premier League era is well behind the ANC. It'll be interesting to see what happens. Will provincial leaders now retaliate or they go back to their respective provinces? How will they manage? And whether or not branches and regions will hold them to account. What happened in Limpopo did not happen in just Limpopo alone. Stan Matabata and his deputy Florence Ratzelani are not the only provincial leaders who tried to lead their provinces away from a mandate already adopted. You could see it in Gauteng. You could definitely see it in the Northwest. And I think you could also see it in parts of KZN. I think it's interesting for democracy in the ANC, but it'll also be interesting to see what they do about it. Of course, the RET question that many are asking about, I think there are many who are licking their wounds as we speak, trying to figure out how do you come back. The Coalition of the Wounded attempted to take back this party. It did not win. I don't think that they can just rise tomorrow. We're hearing members of court action. What are you litigating against? What are you challenging? People are saying Lindiwe Sisulu might go to court. Lindiwe Sisulu needs to remember when she put her hands up to become Treasurer General and was laughed at by people who once thought she could be a president. I think that actually seals that. The things that we must look forward to is an interesting secretariat with Fikile Mbalula at the helm. That's a lifelong dream that's come true for him, with Nomvula Mokonyane as the Deputy Secretary General and Marupini Ramokgopa as the second DSG. It'll be interesting to see what they do as the engine of the organization. The questions around Ramaphosa, he can no longer afford to be indecisive as a leader. He's got to be bolder in leading this organization. He cannot afford the distance that's existed between him and the ANC. Government is important for us as citizens, but government flows from what happens in this party. Stability is required on both ends. That's how I believe ultimately he'd play a better role, is if he takes a decisive role as a leader of the organization. Decisions can't be made for him. He cannot be protected. He's not a little lamb. He's a leader of the governing party in the country and must step up. I think that it'll also be interesting to see what he does in government, yeah? Because in the lead up to this moment, you had a lot of his ministers expressing a lack of confidence in him. These ministers have always said, why are they serving there? If you don't believe in someone, do not serve in his cabinet. But the ball is now in his court. I think obviously a cabinet reshuffle is coming. Ayanda Dlodlo left a while ago, so that was vacant. Fikile Mbalula is now a full-time official at Lutuli House. That's a vacant position. The rumor mill says Dr. Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma was going to resign in January. That's around the corner. Lindiwe Sisulu If it needs to be pushed, so be it. But we need to see whatever comes from here flowing into government, and ultimately Ramaphosa's promise and commitment in this closing address that you lead in the ANC because you want to serve the people of South Africa actually taking shape. They have 18 months before the 2024 elections. Will they be enough to convince us that they're different? I don't believe it, but let's see. From Nasrec, my name is Tshidi, Madia, signing out for Eyewitness News. We've been here for 5 days. I'm over and out. TikTok, goodbye to you as well.